Hi, everybody. Um, Welcome to episode 4 of Hanjado, the way of Hanja. And I am your Hanja host, Kurt. So I've got my banner up again, my Lunar New Year banner. Now, this some of you might know that this banner behind me is actually in Vietnamese. The one emphasis of this series of videos is very specifically on Sino-Korean, that is, Chinese characters as they are used in Korea and in Korean culture. But another closely related emphasis in this series of videos is to understand that when one studies Chinese characters, one is actually studying something that is a shared cultural heritage throughout East Asia, and is interconnected with lots of cultural things, and historical things, and spiritual and religious and philosophical, metaphysical things throughout, and scientific things. The first 10 characters that we're covering in this series, the 10 heavenly stems, are used to name chemicals in East Asia. It's not something I'm going to go into, but I have a background in chemistry myself, so I found that interesting when I was looking up the meanings of these characters. Anyway, so when I was looking around for, I was looking around for things like banners and T-shirts and things celebrating the Lunar New Year. The Vietnamese stuff seemed to be best. The Vietnamese are very, very big on the Lunar New Year, and I'm studying a little bit of Vietnamese right now to add to my very meager knowledge of Chinese characters and Japanese language and Korean language. Anyway, okay. Let me share my screen and get started with the actual presentation. I like this banner. I really like it. I wonder how long I can get away with just using that as my background. Let's see. All right, sharing my screen, and I'm going to do the slideshow thing now. Here we go. Now, as always, start with the first slide, and eventually we'll talk more about the actual content that's on this slide. This is Hanjado, these three characters right here, Hanjado, and this is the Hangul for Hanjado, which means the way of Hanja. And this is a very famous quote from the Tao Te Ching. This is a very famous quote over here. So this is on the left. This is a quote from the Tao Te Ching. On the right is a very famous, very important quote from the three-character classic, which I think is fascinating. This is, quite possibly the most successful children's book in the history of world literature, the three-character classic. And so the way that children in East Asia learn their Chinese characters starts off by being taught people originally are good by nature and fundamentally similar. Over time, we grow apart. With the implication we grow apart from our original nature and from each other. Anyway, that's enough. And this is the 4th day of the first lunar month of the Byung-O-Nyum, the fire horse year. And today's character is the 4th heavenly stem, jeong. And so this character means, what does it mean? It means it is the 4th heavenly stem. That's its primary meaning. I'm going to cheat here a minute. Oops. No, it's not going to work, is it? Go back, Kurt. Let's see, we're going to get Oh, here we go. Okay. Let me do a little. So one, let me show something in kind of in real time here. One way to investigate Hanja. Put a Hanja in a search field and then type Wiktionary. Wiktionary is a very good source. And so this is the English language Wiktionary, but it's all of you can search for Chinese characters in the English language Wiktionary, and as is very common for Chinese characters, you get multiple. Come on. Yeah, you get multiple. Entries for different languages, and the primary meaning of any given character is usually listed under its Chinese entry. That's where the characters originally come from, of course. And so it says here, you can see the fourth of the 10 heavenly stems. It can be used as the ordinal number fourth. It can be used for the letter D, robust, male, adult, person, small, cube, literary, to encounter. All these are different. A lot of these, a lot of the heavenly stems are also used as names. Now, if we go back to the, I mentioned that these characters can be used in chemistry, and once we're in Wiktionary, then it's easy to search using the search function in Wiktionary. And if we go and look at the meaning for the previous, for the third heavenly stem, which is jeong, right? Third heavenly stem is jeong. And here we go. This is what I was looking for. The prefix prop, denoting the presence of 3 carbon units. If you get a little organic compounds like propylene. Anyway, that's one of the things I wanted to show. So a lot of times these the heavenly stems don't necessarily have any other primary meaning besides their use as the heavenly stem or for some other related use. So the third heavenly stem is used in chemistry to refer to 3 carbon atoms. The second heavenly stem is used to refer to 2 carbon, methyl, ethyl, and propylene groups. Let's go back to the slideshow. Wiktionary is a good source for doing your own research on Chinese characters. So that's a meaning. The first thing to know about any Hanja is, what does it mean? Then the second, third, fourth, and fifth things to know about a Hanja is, what does it look like, what does it sound like, how to write it, and how to say it. This one is said jeong. Now this is another one of these funny vowels that don't really exist in the English language. The which is not an o, and even a pure even the Korean version of the pure vowel o, you have to be careful because English speakers have a tendency to say o and round it at the end, which is generally not done in Korean. Anyway, but I want to emphasize that it's great. It's wonderful. If you want to learn to speak fluent Korean with a perfect accent, go for it. And I think that's wonderful. If you want to just really get as good as you can be without setting unrealistic goals, that's also good. But if you just want to kind of be a hack at Sino-Korean, like I am, then you could say, well, jeong. It's pronounced something like jeong. Okay? And as we'll demonstrate again today, it's good to have some, as close as you can get without driving yourself crazy, approximate pronunciation of the Sino-Korean while you're writing out both the Hanja and the Hangul. And I'll demonstrate that once again today. And so, so the second, third, fourth, and fifth things to know about a character are what it looks like, how it's written, what it sounds like, and how to say it. And so this one is pretty easy to write, actually. So let's go right to the animation here. Here is jeong, il, and jeong e. Remember, il is the Sino-Korean number 1. E is the Sino-Korean number 2. Jeong, il, jeong, e. Okay? And that's up here. And so this first stroke of this character, labeled number 1 in red. I usually, if I'm consistent, I'm trying to be consistent. The first stroke, or sometimes the first component of the character, will be numbered in red, and the second stroke, or sometimes the second component, will be numbered in blue. In this particular character, the first stroke is the first component, and the second stroke is the second component. So there. First stroke is the character il, and the second stroke is the character guol, which means hook, which is exactly what it looks like. Okay, so let's see. One more time on the animation. Jeong, il, jeong, e. Okay, and down here, this information about in the JLPT and HSK standardized tests information. This shows that this is, again, a fairly, it's not a beginner as a standalone Hanja. If you were just taking a class in whatever language when you were in your, and let me tell you something. If you decide you want to, I'm going to learn Korean. Guess what? They're not going to learn Hanja in your first year or 2 years or maybe even 3 years of Korean, because it's just the Hanja is not used in written Korean hardly at all. At the same time, from the very first day, from your very first Korean class, you will be learning Sino-Korean because over 60% of the vocabulary of Korean is Sino-Korean, is Chinese loan words, and they many of them were borrowed into the Korean language a long time ago. The second largest probably, well, another very large group of loan words in Korean are Sino-Japanese words. Anyway, just to make things interesting. Okay, so. All right, now before I get to the Hanja cam and the Hangul cam, let's say a couple things about this character. Jeong is a component of the character heng. Now, if you look at it, you can kind of see that. You see right here. I'm gonna blow this up. I'll make this a little bit bigger and get my laser pointer activated. Oh yeah, laser pointer and the magnifier. Do they work together? They can. Let's see. No. Anyway, so the this character heng, this you can see right down here. This is jeong. This is the jeong part of heng. Okay, now the word heng actually is very prevalent in Buddhism. In Buddhism, heng is can be used in more than one way, but it very often is used to mean practice. practice as in a Buddhist, some sort of Buddhist practice, meditation, meditating, bowing, chanting, whatever, any kind of practice can be referred to as hang. It's an even more general way of translating hang into English. And this is how my teachers and Master Sung San generally translated hang. He said it's practice. He liked to give people Dharma names with hang in them, something practice. Okay, in the Heart Sutra, at the very, very, very beginning at the Heart Sutra, we say, in the English version that I know, and most of the English versions in this part of the Heart Sutra are pretty close. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when practicing deeply the Prajnaparamita, perceives that all 5 skandhas are empty and is saved from all suffering and distress. In Sino-Korean, we say, Kwan jaje bosa hengshim banya bara milta shi jo gyon o onge gong do ilche goek. Okay, and here heng is the word practice. Here it's used as a when practicing, and this is a good example of the verbalization of nouns, which is a common feature of classical Chinese. So when you're studying things like Taoism or Confucianism or Buddhism, and you're looking at Chinese characters, generally speaking, and I might talk about some exceptions to this later on, but not today. Generally speaking, you're really going to be talking about classical Chinese. And over here, what do we got over here? We got 2 other characters from the Heart Sutra that also contain jeong. So this is ha. This is the ha in maha. When you chant the Heart Sutra, very often people will say the title of the Heart Sutra first. And so in the Sino-Korean version, one says Maha Banya Bara Milta Shimgyong. In the Sino-Japanese version, it goes more or less like Maka Hanya Bara Milta Shingyo. Okay, and so the ka in the Japanese version, or the ha in the Sino-Korean version, is this character here, this whole thing. And it contains jeong in it, right there, right? And then also, this is the a in Anyoktara, which is in the Heart Sutra when we say all Buddhas attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. This is the nu, or actually in the Sino-Korean, it's more like nyok in the Anyoktara when we say Anuttara. Okay? All right. So as you're learning any character, any Hanja, one of the things you want to pay attention to is both the components of that Hanja, and those components will be found in many other characters, and then also often the character itself is found as a component in other characters. Oh yeah, so I want to spend a little time again today on this very interesting subject of how the heavenly stems, which is what we're working on right now, and the earthly branches combine to make up the 60 years of the 60-year cycle of the East Asian lunar calendar. And so, what's on the next slide? Oh yeah, I thought I had one more like that. Okay, but anyway, so this is the 10 heavenly stems, Ship, Chon, Gan. So Ship is 10, Chon is heaven or heavenly, and Gan is stem. And then the Ship-il GG is the 12 earthly branches. Ship-E GG. Ship-E GG is the 12 earthly branches, and G earthly and G branch. Anyway. And so when they're combined together, the way that you combine them is you go the first stem with the first branch, and then the second stem with the second branch, and then the third stem with the third branch. And so for the first 10 combinations, it's all pretty straightforward, because after 10 you get ge yu is the 10th year in the 60-year cycle. But then what do? Well, what you do is you're now out of stems, earthly stems, so you cycle back. But you still have 2 branches left. So now the first stem combines with the 11th branch. And then the second stem combines with the 12th branch. And now what do you do here? Now you're out of branches, so you cycle back to the beginning. So now the third stem is matched with the where am I? I think stem is matched with probably with the with the first. Yeah, third stem is matched with the first. Third stem is now matched with the first branch. So this is the second time that we've come around on the third stem, but the second time it comes around, it gets matched with a different character. The first time, in the first decade of the 60-year cycle, the third stem was matched with the third branch. The second time it comes around, the third stem is matched with the first branch. And so if you make a little table, as I have done, and you put in the column, the first column, well, actually, the rows, the first character in each row is the heavenly stem that corresponds to that row. So the first row has the first heavenly stem. The second row always has the second heavenly stem. The third row always has the third heavenly stem, etc. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows, because there's 10 heavenly stems. And so for the first and this first column is where everything is very straightforward, because you're just matching the number of the stem and the number of the branch are the same. 10, 10. See, there's 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 10, 10. And then you start over again at 1 with the in the next column, because the first entry in the first entry in this column has to be the first heavenly stem, and the second entry is the 11th earthly branch. All right, so it's 11. By the time you cycle around again, you end up starting at 9, and then you start at 7, then you start at 5, then you start at 3, and if you go through this, and I went through this several times today, I actually found one typo that I had when I presented this in yesterday's video. It all comes out, and once you get to this character ge he, which is matching the 10th heavenly stem with the 12th earthly branch. 10 is the last heavenly stem. 12 is the last earthly branch, which means you start over again. So the next column is not the 61st year. The next column is the first year of the next 60-year cycle, and it starts again with Gapja. Okay? And I'll tell you, I'll probably go through this again. I'll probably try to find and then again, of course, highlighting the year that we are currently in, the Byung-o Nyom. All right. So, what do we got here? All right. Yeah. This slide is out of order. I'll have to fix that. This is the next. Oh, this is the previous one. Yeah, the Byung. Okay. All right. So this is the Hanja for today, and this is the Hangul for today. And so here on one slide I have, I was making separate slides, but for this I decided for the Hangul I put all of the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th stems, the Hanguls for those, all on one slide, because the Hanguls do tend to be much simpler than the Hanja. Hangul is a much, so King Sejong, great King Sejong, who is credited with creating the Hangul writing system, his goal, he was frustrated with how difficult it was for people in Korea to learn how to read and write. And so he wanted to create a simpler writing system to have greater literacy among Korean people. And he said when he was done, when he came up with it, he said, this is so simple that an intelligent person can learn it in 1 day, and a stupid person can learn it in 10 days. So yes, Hangul is always simpler than Hanja, quite a bit. And Hangul is important to learn, even to just approximately know how to pronounce Sino-Korean properly. You should learn the Hangul. So this is the Hangul for today. And I'll look at this slide again while we're practicing with the Hangul cam. But first, let's go to the Hanja cam. Okay, this always takes a little bit of. You might not hear me mumbling as much. I've just got to get the camera set up. Cam wants to show me advertisements, but okay. Let me see. Okay. There we go. I mean, you know, like most apps, whether you have regardless of platform, the app is always much better at showing ads than it is at actually working, right? Actually doing what you want it to do. Okay. This is an experiment that isn't working very well. Okay. Put this up closer. There we go. make sure that I'm actually wearing pants when I do this, you know. Okay, so now this is the Hanja jeong, and it's very simple. Only has 2 strokes. It's very simple. This Hanja only has 2 strokes. Jeong il, jeong i, 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 jeong il, jeong i. Okay, and now jeong il, jeong i, 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 jeong il, jeong i. And remember that old Chinese proverb, if it goes through the hands once, that's better than it going through the eyes 10 times. This is what we're doing right now. The Hanja is going through my hands. Jeong il, jeong i, jeong il, jeong i, jeong il, jeong i. And so there's kind of 3 stages of learning to write a Hanja. First stage is to trace it out. And if that's all you ever do, that's you know, that's great. You can remember the Hanja. The second is to copy it. That is, write it in a blank square, but still looking at the character. And then the next step after that is to write it on a blank piece of paper. Oh, and there's one thing, I'm going to talk about this more in future videos, but once you get to the point where you think you really know the Hanja, then a good thing to do is to close your eyes and visualize the Hanja being written. Actually visualize the strokes as they appear on the paper, okay? And while you're visualizing it, it's a good idea to also say it just like you do when you write it. Jeong il, jeong i, jeong il, jeong i. And now, so in this case, here we have a case where the Hangul is more complicated than the Hanja. Now we have. Oh, and let's before I do that, let me get out of the full screen mode. And look at the stroke order diagram for the Hangul, which is here, and it's this one. All right. So this Hangul has 3 parts. There's the consonant, the beginning consonant, the j part. Then there is the vowel, the and then there is the bachim, the mium. Okay, and remember that the mium, when it appears at the beginning. Oh, let's see. Actually, we do have an example of that now. Okay, good. In this Hangul for the 9th heavenly stem, im. It's im. The word, when you say it, it starts with the vowel sound, and therefore it has to have this mium first, because you can never start with just a bare vowel. I don't know why that is. You'd have to ask King King Sejong. So you always have to have this, and when you have a beginning mium before the vowel, it's not pronounced. But when you have an ending mium, in this case is a bachim, it's the bottom consonant, it's pronounced like, and this is the in the we say we write that out in English as okay? So, oh yeah, might as well keep it blown up, okay? So there's one stroke straight across, two curved strokes like that, 2 and 3. A fourth stroke comes in here, fifth stroke goes straight down. This makes the part of the vowel, and then the final mium is just a single circular or elliptical, in this case, stroke. And so what that looks like, bring the Hanja cam back. I mean the Hangul cam. Alright. So now we have jeong il, jeong i, jeong sam, jeong sa, jeong o, jeong yuk. 6 strokes. See? Yuk is 6. Jeong il, jeong i, jeong sam, jeong sa, jeong o, jeong yuk. Jeong il, jeong i, jeong sam, jeong sa, jeong o, jeong yuk. Jeong il, jeong i, jeong sam, jeong sa, jeong o, jeong yuk. Jeong il, jeong i, jeong sam, jeong sa, jeong o, jeong yuk. And now the second stage, jeong il, jeong i, jeong sam, jeong sa, jeong o, jeong yuk. See, I didn't leave it over. Jeong il, jeong i, jeong sam, jeong sa, jeong o, jeong yuk. Yeah, so and so this is a good. You look up here at the lines, the guidelines. It's telling me what I need to do. I just need to pay attention. Jeong il, jeong i, jeong sam, jeong sa, jeong o, jeong yuk. Jeong i, jeong il, jeong sam, jeong il, jeong i, jeong sam, jeong sa, jeong o, jeong yuk. Jeong il, jeong i, jeong sam, jeong sa, jeong o, jeong yuk. Jeong il, jeong i, jeong sam, jeong sa, jeong o, jeong yuk. Okay. And got a full screen. Gets this out of the way. So this is gives you a little preview of things to come in the coming episodes. Let me see. Do I have any? Yeah. Well, apparently there's 40 slides in this, but let's see. This is the. Oh yeah, that's what I was just writing. Okay, this is the next heavenly stem. Okay, and so that does it for today. Tomorrow, this is a preview of what we'll be looking at tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be doing the 5th heavenly stem, which is mu, and I look forward to seeing you then. Bye for now.